Minister. Senator Hanson.
I'm quite happy to remove this because this is not what should belong in this parliament. My question is
Point of order, Senator Wong.
Waiting the question.
Thank you. Senator Hanson, your question.
To Senator Brandis, the Attorney-General. Senator Brandis, in light of our national security of this nation, will you work with the... to actually ban the burqa in Australia, considering...
Just a moment, Senator Hanson. I need to hear the question, so can I have some order on my left and my right? Senator Hanson, would you commence your question again, please?
In light of what is happening with national security, there has been 13 foiled national threats against us with terrorism, 3 that have been successful, and Australians have lost their lives. Terrorism is a true threat to our country. Many Australians are very much in fear of it.
Order.
What I would like to ask on behalf of the Australian people, considering there has been a large majority of Australians wish to see the banning of the burqa. Our 2 former Prime Ministers, Julia Gillard...
Senator Hanson, the time for asking the question has been expired. Order on my left. Senator Dastyari. Senator Dastyari. And Senator McDonald. Attorney-General, Senator Brandis.
Okay, what irritates me, first and foremost, is the fact that these grown men are grumbling and complaining and yelling at her and not acting as grown-ups. They're acting like little kids who are spoiled that didn't get their way. And those complaints will be made manifest. And I am almost certain that had her question been without the burqa thing, that she would have been given time enough to ask the question. So, your time's cut short. Yeah. Sure. I didn't know we had a time limit, but maybe they do. Maybe they're always adherent to that, but I kind of doubt it. But she comes in bravely with the burqa on, and then I'm thinking that she was asked to remove it. I don't know, but she says, I'm happy to remove this. So that indicates to me that it was asked that she remove it. Well, wait a minute. There's a clothing requirement in here? Am I not allowed to wear this? Perhaps? Well, you are, but you're not. So we're going to hear that in a moment. But I just wanted to complain about that these grown-ups can't act grown-up and obey the civil discourse of the chamber that they're in and wait their goddamn turn to speak or to object. Let her ask the damn question that she wants to ask and then respond to it in the proper sequence of events and follow the rules that have been laid out down by the committee that you're supposed to be a part of. But it's something that made us upset. Bunch of whiny, entitled, grown-up kids. All right, back to the clip.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Hanson, no, we will not be banning the burqa. Now, Senator Hanson, I am not going to pretend to ignore the stunt that you have tried to pull today by arriving in the chamber dressed in a burqa when we all know that you are not an adherent of the Islamic faith.
Wait a minute. Can you mind read? Can you mind read the fact that she's not Islamic? Maybe she converted for all you know. Now, okay, she said, yes, I'll take it off, and she took it off, which is something that a true Islamic, no true Scotsman, fallacy would never do. A true Islamic woman would never, ever, ever take off the burqa when asked. So, I mean, obviously she's not, right? But, I mean, maybe she does follow that religion. How do you know that she's not Islamic? I'm just asking that question. We all know you're not. And wait a minute. And then the other part of that, because that is a problem I have with the idea that we all know that you're not this thing. We don't know that. So that's a non-issue. Or at least it should be, but it isn't. And here's why. Are you telling me that if she was Islamic, she could wear the burqa in there? Or are there dress codes for being in that area? Rules that you agreed upon, which include not yelling and acting out like little kids like you did a moment ago so that the guy had to call to order. Is there dress code? There probably is, I would imagine there is. Does it say that you're not allowed to wear the burqa and part of that dress code? And if not, then she's allowed to wear it. But you're saying, or you're implying at least, that she's only allowed to wear it if everyone knows that she's of a particular faith, in this case, Islamic. So it's only okay to wear this type of clothing if you happen to be this religion. I guess that means I can't wear Mormon undergarments in the chamber. Well, no, nobody would see them because they'd be under my clothes. And because the dress code requires me to put on clothes, I couldn't just take off my clothes and reveal the fact that I'm wearing these garments and say, hey, I'm not Mormon, by the way. As if that would matter. If I wanted to wear those garments, why would it matter what religion I was or wasn't part of? Unless that is the issue. Unless the issue is we want to protect the religion. Not that it's about freedom of wearing clothing. Because if that was really the issue, who cares? Wear it. Don't wear it. We don't care. You know, your question, and no, we're not going to do that because we feel that banning clothing is bad because of X, Y, and Z. There you go. There's your answer, right? But see, that's not the reason why they're not going to ban this. So let's hear more of the Nimrod preach in favor of Islam, because we haven't had enough of that yet.
I would caution you and counsel you, Senator Hanson, with respect, to be very, very careful of the offence you may do to the religious sensibilities of other Australians. We have about 500,000 Australians in this country of the Islamic faith, and the vast majority of them are law-abiding, good Australians. And Senator Hanson, it is absolutely consistent with being a good, law-abiding Australian and being a strict adherent Muslim.
So what? Even if that's true. Because her question was, will you ban this item of clothing? Well, they adhere to it. This is part of their thing. And just because a few people are using that to their advantage, that doesn't mean we can ban this thing. Right? Okay. But you didn't say it like that. You could have, but you didn't. But here is a thing that allows you to conceal weapons, bombs. You don't even know what gender the person is that's wearing it. You assume it's a woman, but you don't know. It could be a guy. And I wouldn't be surprised if they started doing that. Because it's a very good way to hide a number of things. And hide your identity as well. You can't see who I am. So if I do something, and then I run out into a crowd who's also wearing the same sort of thing that I'm wearing, and I get lost in that crowd because you can't tell me apart from the rest of them because we're all dressed the same, kind of reminds me of something that we have had to deal with here. These people that go around in white outfits and they wear this white pointed hat and they have masks on and they hate certain people. yeah, there's a group of people that do this, and, they're bad. But we know they're bad. They're all bad because they're distinctly outright say that they're bad. The KKK says, we hate this color of people. We only like white people, and then they define white in a certain magical way. Okay, so you can't dare compare Islam to that, because these Islamic people are saying that they're good people and that they don't want to kill people that aren't Islamic. Well, push their feet a little bit closer to that fire and try to get them to actually admit that if anyone deconverts, that death is a penalty. Well, yeah, but that's only under the law, and since that's not the law here, we're not going to kill them. Well, that's just great. That means if you could kill them, you would, or that you want to kill them, but you just can't. That's not good either. But okay, let's set all that aside. Okay, so there's peaceful people that happen to wear this thing that's a very good disguise. And they're only become unpeaceful the moment they break the law. And a few of them have broken the law. And again, anybody that breaks the law wearing one of these burqas could go run out where there's presumably enough other people wearing this burqa, because he said the number of people that are Islamic. I don't know how many are strict adherents to it, but if you can go out and run outside of the store that you committed your robbery in and get lost in a crowd of people because of what you're wearing, isn't that a problem? Isn't it a problem to address? Now, if you want to be concerned because maybe banning apparel is some sort of slippery slope, and usually I'm very much against banning things, and I'm very much against censorship. Usually I'm very, very strict on that in my worldview and if I have one, and how I want things to be. It's like, look, I don't want censorship, I don't want things banned, but sometimes there's good reasons for it. So if everybody decided that wearing hockey masks was part of their religion, and then suddenly people started committing crimes wearing hockey masks, wouldn't we have a good precedent to say, you know what, we're going to ban hockey masks? Or at least we're going to ban them when you enter a building. You're not allowed to wear it when you enter a building because we're afraid, that you might rob it. You might say, well, that's restrictive or whatever. And yeah, it is. And sometimes laws are restrictive. But no. It's protecting this religion. We have to protect it because it's so vulnerable and so weak and so easily hurt that it needs special protection. How about this for an idea? You can wear the dang burqa in your church and in your mosque, in your house, outside of your house that you own the property of. But when you hit the public streets, you have to at least take off the part that conceals your face so we can identify you. Maybe you have to take off the top part so we can identify you. And, well, that hurts because my religion. Well, maybe your religion needs to update itself so that you can not have to follow this strict thing. And by the way, what if you don't want to do that? Well, then you can't be part of that religion, I guess, or at least you can't be a strict adherent to it. But, again, this weird vibe of, does that mean that I can't wear this if I'm not Islamic? Why not? I thought this was about freedom to wear or not wear what I wanted to, right? It's not, though. It's not, though. We know that. It's not. And this guy is crying crocodile tears now for the Islamics on behalf of them. You know what? I'm not going to give him that much credit, though. I don't think he's that good of enough of an actor. I think that he does have real sympathy for the Islamics and really does want to protect them. Perhaps because if he's not Islamic himself, he certainly sympathizes with their backwards religion and believes that it needs coddling and protection. Because we need blasphemy laws. Really. That's what this is. You can't say bad things about Muhammad. You can't wear the burqa unless you're Islamic. There's an awful lot of regulations being put in place to protect a religion. It's really odd.
Now, Senator Hanson, for the last 4 years, I have had responsibility preeminently among the ministers subject to the Prime Minister for national security policy. And I can tell you, Senator Hanson, that it has been the advice of each Director General of Security with whom I have worked, and each Commissioner of the Australian Federal Police with whom I have worked, that it is vital for their intelligence and law enforcement work that they work cooperatively with the Muslim community. And to ridicule that community, to drive it into a corner, to mock its religious garments, is an appalling thing to do, and I would ask you to reflect on what you have done.
Order. Order.
How is she making fun of it? What? How? How is wearing it making fun of it? She didn't say, look at this thing and how stupid it is. It is stupid. I mean, it's a big black bag around your head. Basically, it's just this outdated garment that may have had a purpose at some point. Like in the desert, you want to wear loose clothing, so wearing baggy clothing in the desert makes sense. And then the whole thing with, disguise your face and all this laws came into effect relatively recently, actually, if you look at the history of the Islamic people, that this Sharia law bullshit, once it took hold, that was it. Everything changed. And what was once a country of beautifully diverse people is now only half diverse, and the other half are covered up. But, whatever, that's their choice, right? They've made that choice. Now that they're in a free country, they can choose to be this way. But didn't coming to the country mean maybe perhaps adapting to that country, not the other way around? And this is the thing that's been stated many times by people that can say such things better than I can, is that when you go somewhere, you immigrate, well, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Not, I'm going to go there and expect you to kowtow to me. As a Westerner, if I go to Japan, I have to be on my best behavior. I have to conform to some degree to their expectations and standards. I don't want to make America look bad, per se. Heck with that, I don't want to make myself look bad. But I know that they have a low view, typically speaking, of foreigners, or at least that's what I've heard. But it might not be true for the individual. Of course, it's going to vary from place to place. But why add to that problem by being a bad foreigner myself? I'm going to be the best behaved foreigner I know how to be and try to adapt to certain customs and not be like, hey, adapt to my way of believing and thinking and doing things. Because that's not right. If they were so okay with wearing the burqa, then they go back home. Go wear it back there. You're here now. You came here for a chance at opportunity and freedom, and now you have it, and now you've decided, well, I don't want it, and I want to be oppressed. Okay, fine. But when some of you start misbehaving and you're using that burqa while misbehaving, well, then maybe it's a good idea to rethink allowing this thing to be worn because it's such a great disguise. I think that it's not unreasonable to expect foreigners, when they come into any nation, no matter what it is, whoever's going anywhere else. If I go even to Canada, well, I've got to adapt to their stuff. And I don't like a lot of Canada's laws. I disagree very vehemently with a lot of their laws. But I shouldn't go there and then start making demands on behalf of my religion or ideologies and expect them to kowtow to it. And you might say, well, yeah, because you're just one person. Now, if we get tens of thousands of me's suddenly coming in saying, hello, we're here. Oh, by the way, you need to respect the fact that we, want to run around naked. Well, it's part of our religion. Right. What are you going to say? And how many people does it take to become a thing where you're going to kowtow to it and be like, well, yeah, you can run around naked. You can run around wearing that really good disguise. You can run around carrying guns because that's part of your religion. Why not? If it's part of your religion. And you just make it part of your religion. And who are they to say that you can't? And if you have enough people and you came to a free place and you're allowed freedoms, well, then you can do that. But there are laws. And so she's asking that we pass a law that says no to this. It's not an insult to their religion, and if it is, then their religion is weak and woolly-livered, which we know that it is anyways. We know that Islam can't tolerate any insults at all. It's just intolerant of insults. They're such wimps that they can't have anything bad said about them. Okay, so I want to make this really clear to any Islamic person that might be listening. Your religion sucks. It's stupid. Muhammad was a pedophile, and he's stupid, and he wasn't a prophet. And, oh yeah, by the way, Allah is fictional just as much as Yahweh is. So, fuck your religion. How about that? Now, if you're a good Islamic person, and you're not evil, then you won't care. You'll be like, well, whatever. He insulted me. Yeah, he insulted my religion. Whatever. I didn't insult you, by the way. I just insulted your religion. I don't know you as a person. But if you're a bad one, well, then you're going to want me dead and you're going to want to hurt me. And we've seen that with Christians, law-abiding Christians, that when you make fun of their precious little stupid religion, that they get all offended and they might even tell you that they want you to die or they can't wait for you to burn in hell or whatever. But they won't actually do anything. That's the difference. You'll do something. That makes your religion dangerous. But forget about all that, because Baldy here has to protect the poor little Muslims. I mean, Islamics. They're not all Muslim. Okay, most of them are Muslim, but not all of them. But the poor little Islam people that, their religion. Alright. I'll play a little bit more and then I'll be done.
Senators on my left, please resume your seats. Senator Wong, on a point of order.
If I could, by leave, make a very short statement.
Is leave granted?
I think the
Senator Hanson-Young, are you objecting to leave?
I'm not Senator Hanson-Young. Please
Senator
address
Hanson,
me.
my apologies. Are you objecting to leave being granted?
Yes, I am.
Well, leave is not granted, Senator Wong. Senator Wong, leave is not being granted. A point of order, Senator Wong.
Point of order. I make
Senator
a
Hanson,
point
I'll listen
of
to a point
order.
of order first. Point of order, Senator Wong.
Thank you. My point of order is this. If I had the opportunity, I would move to congratulate the Leader of the Government on that statement. Well, and I make this point on behalf of all of us on this side of the chamber. It is one thing to wear religious dress as a sincere act of faith. It is another to wear it as a stunt here in the Senate chamber.
Senator Wong. Senator Hanson, are you asking your supplementary question or a point
supplementary
of order?
question is...
Supplementary
Is the Attorney-General aware that the burqa is not a religious requirement at all? My question is, will the Attorney-General then ban the burqa in this House for in future as a security risk? And also the fact is that the people of Australia have the right to see the face of a person that they elect to this parliament, and they are the person who is actually going to be making decisions in their parliament on their behalf.
Thank you. Before I call the Attorney-General, it's in the purview of the presiding officers, not the Attorney-General, to determine what happens as far as security is concerned within Parliament House. The Speaker and I have made arrangements that anyone who enters this premises with their face covered by whatever means is clearly identified prior to entering the building. And further, the first thing I ascertained when you walked into the building dressed as you, into the chamber dressed as you were, I wanted to ascertain who you were, and that was verified to me. I make no further comment about the dress that you wore. Attorney-General, do you have any comment that you wish to make in relation to that matter? Attorney-General.
No.
Thank you. Senator Hanson, a final supplementary question.
I will. If a person who wears a balaclava or a helmet into a bank or any other buildings or even on the floor of the court, they must be removed. Why is it not the same case for someone who is covering up their face and cannot be identified? Will the government make changes to these laws?
Attorney-General.
No.
Thank you, Attorney-General.
Oh, I just love how he didn't answer the question of why it's different. Why is it different that somebody wearing a mask or a bike helmet, when they go into a bank, that they're removed, but when they come in with a burqa, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, why is that different? We're not going to change the laws. Well, that didn't answer the question. No, we're not going to change the laws. Thanks, security guy. Like, wow. We're just not going to, no, it's not going to happen. Not even going to think about it. We're not going to do it. Oh, man. What is going on in the world? What the bleep? Why are so many people Islam apologists these days? Scary. Absolutely scary.
And to ridicule that community, to drive it into a corner, to mock its religious garments is an appalling thing to do, and I would ask you to reflect on what you have done.
Order. Order.
So this is how liberty dies. With thunderous applause.